The NFL has had many strange moments. There have been games without fans, a Super Bowl which lost power, players running into each other's butts. But none of these bizarre moments even come close to the weirdest season in NFL history, 2008. What makes this season so weird, you may be asking? Well, let me just say you guys are in for a ride. Where do I even begin? Well, we might as well start off with the greatest player of all time, Tom Brady. What happened to him during this season? Well, just a quick fun fact about Brady, he has actually never missed a game to injury in his entire career, except for this season, and he missed 15 of them. Less than 10 minutes into the 2008 season, Tom Brady had by far the worst injury of his career, and the only injury that actually caused him to miss time, a torn ACL and MCL in his left knee. A devastating injury, surely he won't recover. So the Patriots, a season before going 16-0 and losing in the Super Bowl, to now having their franchise quarterback injured for the whole season. Obviously, the Patriots would not be a good team this year, except they were. Matt Castle fit the role of backup quarterback perfectly, going an extremely surprising 11-5 in the games he led. Even without Brady, the Patriots had a playoff record, except they didn't even make the playoffs. Nope, 11-5 was somehow not enough to even warrant a wild card spot. Which is even funnier once you realize the two teams in the NFC Championship were only 9-win teams, the Cardinals and the Eagles. It's even crazier once you consider that there were 3 other 9-win teams in the NFC, all of them missing the playoffs. But back to the Cardinals, they were the eventual NFC champions, somehow making this season was his second to last, and somehow he threw the most completions in a single season in his career, as well as the second most yards in his career. Funny enough, the second to last regular season game for the Cardinals this year actually was a blowout loss to those 11-5 playoff-less Patriots that we were just mentioning. Funny to look at this box score and realize the Cardinals were the ones to make the Super Bowl, while the Patriots didn't even get a taste of the postseason. Sadly, the Cardinals' Cinderella story would come to its end in the Super Bowl against the Pittsburgh Steelers. May I add, one of the best Super Bowls in NFL history. Probably one of the more normal things of this football season. But if you want to get nitpicky, I will say the James Harrison pick six is probably the most improbable pick six in NFL history, so add that to the list of weird moments. Also, the Steelers beating the Cardinals once again proves that the football gods are not in our favor. Now, why the heck was the NFC so wide open? Well, the number 1 seed that year was none other than the New York Giants. Yes, the defending champ New York Giants, who somehow had a good regular season record, which never happens. I'm sure all of you remember Plaxico Burress and his game-winning touchdown in that Super Bowl, but guys, he did something really funny. So let's paint the picture here. It's November 30th, the Giants are an extremely impressive 11-1. They're playing some of the best football the franchise has ever seen. Now, Plaxico, who was the Giants' best receiver at the time, went to a New York nightclub on November 28th and accidentally shot himself in the leg. Which first of all sucks because yeah, that's gotta hurt, and he can't play because he has a bullet hole in his leg. But even worse than that is the fact that he didn't have a license to carry a firearm in New York. So he ended up spending the next 20 months in jail. The Giants, who were 11-1 after their November 30th victory, finished the season 12-4 and proceeded to lose in their first playoff game. Plaxico both literally and figuratively shot himself in the foot, derailing this monster Giants 2008 season, which is why we see 9-win teams making the NFC Championship. Well, we already talked about Kurt Warner, but let's talk about another veteran Hall of Fame quarterback that switched. Hilariously enough, both Warner and Favre were on their 3rd NFL team and somehow made a Pro Bowl appearance this season. Scriptwriters are feeding families. Not to even mention that Kurt Warner and Brett Favre actually went against each other this year in a Jets 56-35 victory. 2 old heads going against each other, and Favre throws 6 passing touchdowns, while on the other side of the ball, Warner threw for 472 yards. What is going on? The Jets and Cardinals can only play against each other once every 4 seasons, so for this to happen is an absolute blue moon sighting. Thank you, Kurt Warner, you've done enough for us on this video, but now let's focus more on Brett Favre. Now, prior to the 2008 season, Brett Favre actually announced his first retirement, only for him to be reinstated in the league just 4 months later. Now, Madden 09 was coming out, and due to Favre's retirement, they were going to make a tribute cover to him, so obviously they had him in his Packers jersey. So they produced that, sent it out, but obviously after his reinstatement, he was now a Jet. Therefore, Madden felt like they had to release a new Brett Favre cover with him in a Jets jersey. So that's why you can see both of these separate covers in different stores and whatnot. Now, who was the best seed in the AFC? Surprisingly, it wasn't the Super Bowl champion Steelers of that season. It actually was the Tennessee Titans with a franchise best 13-3 record led by none other than Kerry Collins. Yes, Kerry Collins led the Titans to have the best record in 2008. Once again, another veteran quarterback playing extremely well. This is his 14th season. I'm sure many of you don't know who Kerry Collins is, but he actually had a pretty solid stint with his first team, the Carolina Panthers, but he's most known for his Super Bowl 35 appearance with the New York Giants, where they did eventually lose to the Baltimore Ravens. Speaking of the Baltimore Ravens, Joe Flacco comes into the scene in 2008. The Ravens, who were 5-11 in 2007 with the help of Joe Flacco and a better defense, made the playoffs in 11-5. This was also Matt Ryan's rookie year, and he did the exact same thing. The 2007 Falcons were 4-12, but he led them to an 11-5 playoff appearance in 2008. Two incredible season-to-season turnarounds from rookie quarterbacks. Now, what's even crazier is when you consider the 2008 Dolphins, because in 2007, they finished with a 1-15 atrocious record, but in 2008, the Dolphins won the AFC East with an 11-5 record, which marks the largest regular season turnaround in NFL history with a 10-game swing. Not to mention, this Dolphins team literally invented the Wildcat formation. Yes, in week 3 of the season, the Dolphins put up one of the best coaching performances against Bill Belichick, and he was absolutely stunned with no response whatsoever. The Dolphins were literally just running the same 6 plays over and over again, and there was absolutely nothing the Patriots defense did to even slow down this pace. Ronnie Brown would be lined up under center, and he had a total of 5 touchdowns, 1 passing and 4 rushing. The Dolphins absolutely demolished Bill Belichick's defense, winning 38-13, but also inventing the Wildcat as we know it. Another wild occurrence in the standings happened in the AFC West. By the time Week 13 came around, the Broncos had an 8-5 record with the Chargers a 5-8 record. The Broncos pretty much had the AFC West locked up. However, the Chargers won the division. How is this possible? The Chargers won out their final 3 games while the Broncos lost out. Chargers had the tiebreaker, and they won the division with an 8-8 record. Analytics were giving the Chargers a 2% chance to win the division. But once again, it's 2008, anything can happen. Speaking of anything can happen, the Philadelphia Eagles, yes, the same team that made the NFC Championship, needed 3 upsets to happen in Week 17 just for them to squeak into the 6th seed. They needed the 4-11 Oakland Raiders to somehow defeat the 9-6 Buccaneers, which not only happened, but the Raiders somehow managed to pull off a 10-point fourth quarter deficit and win the game. They also needed the 8-7 Chicago Bears to lose to the 7-8 Texans, which was an upset, especially considering the Bears were fighting for a playoff spot. Once again, that happened. And then that led to the final game of the Eagles' regular season against the division rival Dallas Cowboys. Whoever wins will take the final playoff spot in the NFC playoff picture. And the Eagles absolutely destroyed the Cowboys 44-6, miraculously making the playoffs, which would eventually start their surprising playoff run. Another wild thing that happened with the Eagles team this season, which honestly is the reason that they were fighting for that playoff spot anyways, was in Week 11, where the Eagles and the Bengals tied. The funniest part, Donovan McNabb had no idea that you could even tie in an NFL game.
Well, I've never been a part of a tie. Never even knew that was in the rule book.
That tie had major implications on the postseason playoff picture, but luckily for the Eagles, it didn't end up mattering as they snuck in anyways. And finally, to wrap up this video, what could be the most wild occurrence of the 2008 season is that the Detroit Lions became the first NFL team to go 0-16. Tied for the worst record in NFL history, obviously with the Newark Cleveland Browns in 2017. Led by Dan Orlovsky, there's not really much this team could have done even with Megatron at wide receiver. And with Dan at the helm, that also led to one of the NFL's funniest plays.
Here comes Jared Allen, and he's out of bounds. Poor guy, I don't even know if he realized it.
So obviously it's clear why many, including myself, consider 2008 to be the weirdest NFL season. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. I hope you guys did enjoy a look at one of the weirder seasons in sports history completely. If you guys did enjoy this video, make sure to leave a like and subscribe. It really helps the channel. And also make sure to check out the channel. I upload multiple videos a week, so if you love sports, you will love my channel. You will never be short of content. Thank you guys, and I'll see you guys in the next Heaps video.